A lot of times people say everyone staying quiet is what led to that happening. And how do you feel about that? I mean, if you feel that something's wrong and a lot of you feel the same way, are you supposed to just stay quiet or is it better to start fighting before it's too late?
Yes, it's exactly. Well, when it's all over, you can tell. You, it's easy to say after, but it's true. But they had see it was the fear tactic. You could not speak. You afraid. You fear for your life.
Mob mentality. If I'm against the mob, I'm a dead man.
That's right. So what can they had this? You, it was a no-win game. However, I I did my best to support all my Jewish friends. My mother helped me a lot because we had good connections in spite of all the rationing. We, we were trading with other merchants. We had plenty of food. So we were able to help other people easy. The main thing almost forgot. We listened every night to BBC London and Radio Moscow, and they spoke German. And there was um, a sound. BBC London came V for victory. And it was the Morse code. Di 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 da 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 da. It's like the first notes in the Fifth Symphony of Beethoven. Di 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 da 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 da.
So you would listen to these two different opinions, one from the UK and one from the Russian
Yeah,
Federation at that time, the communist USSR.
the Soviets. Yeah,
And these radio signals would reach you in Germany.
in German. Ja.
Wow.
Guten Abend, wir geben Ihnen Nachrichten in deutscher Sprache. Good evening, we give you news in German, in German language. And then they came up with all kinds. We have so and so and so and so, da 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 da, this and this. Like a submarine was sunk, the survivors are doing fine, and then mentioned the names and all, everything, all
So this
kinds.
was happening while the war is actually going on.
Oh yeah.
Now,
And
where are you? I mean, you're still home. You're not called into action yet. You're still.
no, I was still home. Now, to listen to a foreign station, it was labeled as high treason. You undermine the security of the state, which will be punishable by death.
So if they catch you listening to the BBC radio or the Russian radio while the war is going on in that Nazi Germany,
You
just
finish.
turning it on by accident to that channel, and they hear an SS walks by or someone reports that you're listening to that channel, you're dead.
So our trick was first have it at very low volume and have a heavy blanket over. We all sit around the radio. A heavy blanket over to muzzle the sound so we could only hear, no one else. We tested it, and no, if you're outside the blanket, you can't hear. So we felt very safe, and technology wasn't that advanced like today. Today they will have you in no time. However, I brought all these news to the Jewish people, also to the French prisoners of war who were working in our town, and so forth. And other people came to our house. The ones you could trust who were in the same boat were the enemies of the Nazis. And well, just hoping. Well, we're living on hope. We were we were sort of powerless. We had no, we had nothing. What could you do? You could not speak up. You could not protest. All you could do is hoping. Now, I met several other people. Now, I always promise myself that I do the best I can do in my power to fight the Nazis. And that was the time in 1942, the end 42, and a friend of mine whose father was also Jewish became a good friend of mine, and a French girl named Ria from Lille. Her parents were from Czech origin. And there was two more Frenchmen, Gilbert and Simon, also from Lille. By the way, they were all communists, all three. And Ria showed me with pride her ID. She still had a little booklet, a party booklet, it's like an ID of the French youth communist, the French Communist Youth Party. And we were sitting together and doing the same thing what the adults were doing at my house. But we want to get active. What can we do? Well, what we can do is make propaganda against it, of course. And it was my bedroom. I had upstairs in our house a room for myself in the attic, and we made posters, all very primitive. Nieder mit Hitler. Macht Schluss mit dem Krieg. Rettet euch. Means down with Hitler. End the war. Save yourselves. That was one poster.
And you were making these in your attic.
It was mainly me. And another fellow, he had contact with printing business. He could get paper. It was hard paper, very hard paper, to make these posters. We also put in short information, what we picked up from BBC London and Moscow, certain facts, what happened. And then when all over town, it was blackout. They couldn't see us. You couldn't see not a foot in front of you. And nobody was allowed. You could not even light a cigarette out in the street. Pitch dark. It was perfect for us. So we just went for a walk, strolling around, and stopped after hours. It was maybe 8 o'clock at night. So the big department store, and they had their door with bars down, and we pinned it on. So we had these posters rolled under our coat. It was winter time, and we unrolled it, and then the others were standing in front to cover you, unrolled it and put some wire on, and then walked away to the next place, all over Main Street, all over. We did this. And then another time, we came up with a better idea. The streetcar from the neighboring town covered a trip of 15 kilometers from Bochum, Herne, Recklinghausen, 3 cities and back. Now we waited till late at night, till the last one goes. And they were switching around behind the railway station. Now they left the one car there and they switched around. There was about a delay of, I would say, almost 10 minutes. That gave us enough time to take a pot with paint and a brush and paint it on the streetcar, the slogans. The same thing. Stop the war. Save yourselves. The war is lost. And then about the Nazis and this and this and this. All we could do. And about the concentration camps. That innocent people got killed. Murdered, rather. He was murdered, which they did. The next day, streetcar, the last streetcar at night was the first one going out in the morning. It was still dark. And it was gone. And we did this on Saturday night. So on Sunday morning, when people were going for a walk or going to church or whatever, they could see the streetcar with all these slogans. So I'm sure it did something. The morale. They knew that some of them, what they thought was dealt and shared with other people. They were not alone. So it gave them a little, obviously, It's just naturally. It gave him some strength and some hope, and it worked in the long run.
Back rubber.